Hello, everyone. My name is Matias Grignola, and today I will be talking about supply chain management. So, as always, we begin with a definition. So, supply chain management is the design, execution, control, and monitoring of supply chain activities with the goal of creating net value, leveraging logistics, and creating competitive infrastructures. So, with the whole convoluted definition, supply chain management deals with the flow of goods and services and everything that comes along with that. So, I'm going to explain supply chain management a little more. So, it's the movement and storage of raw materials, processing raw materials or inventory into finished goods, moving inventory and finished goods from place to place, as well as the final customer, and all the processes and logistics that go into play when dealing with all this movement and manufacturing and process. So the goal of supply chain management, the goal is to increase efficiency and drive down costs while producing a quality product or service. And part of what goes into this goal is outsourcing, which I'll talk about. So outsourcing, this is when you give processes to other companies due to their costs being cheaper than the own company's own in-house processes. So if I'm making a water bottle, I could print the labels, but say it costs me 5 cents to print a label, a single label, but maybe a different company only charges 2 cents to print the label. That's 3 cents I can save on each bottle of water. So that's an example of outsourcing. Specialization plays a key role in outsourcing, which is basically there's a company that does each process. So there's a company that does the labels. There's a company that produces the plastic for the water bottle. There's a company that um, treats the water and such that you will sell. I will talk about specialization a bit more later. But outsourcing does have less control over data logistics to increase supply chain partners. So you forfeit control over a lot of the data when you partner up with other companies. And part of what goes into outsourcing is you have to improve trust among partners to ensure timeliness of inventory movement. Because if not, that can just mess up everything, the whole process, drive up costs instead of bringing them down. So there's two supply chain systems, the planning application and the execution application, which I'll go into more detail. And these applications are based on data models that support sharing of data both inside and outside an enterprise. So although I said you forfeit a lot, um, although you forfeit a lot of, let's just say, data control, these processes are open. So um, you won't be relinquishing too much of your data to other companies because you'll have a look into it. So the planning application, very straightforward, uses advanced algorithms to plan the best way to plan an order. I know it sounds redundant, but you do have to plan a strategy of how you're going to tackle an order. So if you get a special order for 1 million water bottles um, from a certain company, you have to plan how you're going to deliver those 1 million water bottles, as opposed to your general cranking out 500,000 water bottles, a month to be sold on store shelves. So there's a lot of planning that needs to go into it. And then there's the execution application, which is way bigger but requires a completely different point of view. It tracks physical status of goods and materials, which is crucial, and it tracks financial information involved in all the parts of the process. So there's a lot of management components that come into play with supply chain management. I'll read them off. They're pretty straightforward. These are a lot of things that management has to worry about to ensure that um, the process of creating a good or service is cost effective, efficient, and all that. So there's planning and control, work structure, organization structure, management structure, product flow in the facility, information flow in the facility, power and leadership, risk and reward, culture and attitude. So especially the last three, power, leadership, risk, reward, culture, and attitude, those are things that managers and management in general have to really make an effort to shape in a certain way to that will help their own company. So the importance for businesses, in order to compete, supply chain management is required. You need a global network to increase your profits, um, because it's just a fact that like cross border commerce makes things cheaper. You see companies outsourcing to China and India all the time. If you do not do this, your prices will be too high and you will not be competitive. And that's where specialization comes in. um, Specialization allows for companies to focus on a single part of the product. So, with my example with water bottles, if there's a company that produces just the plastic bottle, they will focus on delivering an amazing plastic bottle and will work to make that process cheaper. Will work to reduce materials when making a bottle. Will make it more environmentally friendly. If that's the only thing they have to worry about. Um, Imagine a company has to worry about the labels, the water treatment, the plastic bottle. They might be more inclined to make the water treatment way more efficient than the plastic bottles. So it won't be nearly as good of a product. So if there's a company that's focused on each individual part of the product, that will lead to an overall more quality product, which is huge for business. And that's why you need a global network to accomplish this. So the advantages of supply chain management: lower labor costs, better inventory control, increased market visibility. So once you're working with a lot of companies, you have a view of what goes on in their companies, because you have a hand in what they're doing as well. So then you can better your own company as well. There's just a lot more collaboration with supply chain management, and overall just increased performance and profitability. And there's more knowledge on what the customer wants and needs with having so many companies dealing and working together. There are disadvantages, however. It's expensive to implement. It's not an easy task to build up a global network of supply chain partners. And then in turn, various functions are difficult to manage. So you need people with skills and experience to manage all these functions well, keep stable the global network, and make sure that costs are working in terms of keeping these partnerships and the product at a good price. And something I want to touch on with supply chain, which is huge, is consulting. Consulting provides expert knowledge to enhance productivity. That's just the definition of consulting. And companies use external firms in order to gain insight on what other companies are doing, what they could be doing better, just feeling out the market. Consulting also provides information on current trends that companies should be looking out for. This is huge, especially when you're trying to drive down costs and have bigger networks. And the two biggest companies are Deloitte and McKinsey and Company. And I'll talk about Deloitte because Deloitte is one of the big four accounting firms. It is the largest professional network in the world. Um, they do accounting, they do consulting, they do so much, um, and they're so good at it, and that's why they made 37 billion in revenue for the year of 2015. So if you're looking into consulting and supply chain management or auditing or accounting, Deloitte is the company for you. They are definitely the head honcho here. And thank you very much. Clearly, I was not able to even scratch the surface of supply chain, given all the factors that come into play. But hopefully, you'll learn something, maybe a little bit to get you started, interested. Um, these are my sources.